After years of trying to fit in, a Bentonville West sophomore's embracing what makes him different and at times using it to his advantage. In this KNWA special report, you'll meet Peter, a varsity wrestler who's been given a fighting chance. They say wrestling is about the struggle.
He can't get you. Let's go.
There you go. Get the arm. Get the arm.
Technique, strength.
Keep that wrist out there.
And heart.
The whole life sport, it's like what you do on the mat reflects what you do outside the mat.
It's not certain whether Pete Balin found wrestling or if wrestling found Pete.
I love being part of a team because that's something that I'd been missing from when I stopped sports to when I joined wrestling.
But they're the perfect match.
Once you get out and start wrestling, it doesn't matter how many legs you have. The guy opposite me is going to try to win, and I'm going to try to win.
Until he joined the Bentonville West wrestling team last year, Pete had always fought to fit in.
I had never really taken my leg off in front of anybody.
He was born with only a portion of his right leg, which was amputated when he was just a day old.
I have one leg, and there's really no getting around that as much as I want to or as much as I've wanted to. And so it was nice just to start that again and be able to be myself. Hey, Peter.
Wrestling helps him embrace his disability.
Sure, there's some moves I can't hit, but there's also moves people can't hit on me. Move that leg. Yeah, there you go.
He doesn't have the ability to just show up. He's got to give everything he's got, and if he doesn't, it's going to be a quick out for him. You got to bring the hand up just for a second.
His assistant wrestling coach, Jared Henning, says Pete's lack of limb isn't what sets him apart from opponents. It's what you can't see during a match.
You can be good the first and second period with just skills and techniques.
Pete, wrestle tough. Don't give him that wrist.
But you got to have heart and endurance for the last 2 minutes.
Keep fighting it down. Keep fighting it down.
He's crazy strong.
It is pretty inspiring.
He's a fighter. I respect him. He's going to be amazing one day. He already is, but he's going to be even better.
Win or lose, Pete's already gained so much more than any trophy could ever represent.
It's been a huge confidence builder for him.
Yeah.
Almost too much so. Every day he comes home, he tries to pin me on the ground, and actually probably could.
Pete's ability to see the positives in life goes back long before he even became a wrestler. His parents did everything they could to give him the best opportunity.
What we could do, as young as he was, to try to give him, for lack of a better term, a leg up. It's just, I feel like we owed it to them to try that.
The Balins connected with a prosthetist at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center when Pete was just a few months old. The doctor there developed a first-of-its-kind crawling prosthesis for him.
Basically just a cup with a rubber mat on it that we could put on his stump, but allowed him to crawl.
As Pete grew older, he walked the halls of Walter Reed with a prosthetic leg among wounded soldiers.
If I was ever going to lose my leg, losing it at birth was the best thing that could have happened, because I've learned to adjust to life like this rather than have my leg blown off in Iraq or Iran and come back and have to completely relearn everything. He
served as an inspiration for some of those guys to basically, hey, you know what, if that little boy can do this, I can figure out a way to do it too.
Pete continues to serve as an inspiration as he works to channel his strengths during his matches.
If anybody ever feels like they're where they want to be, it means they're content with where they are.
He's had to struggle, and some of these kids haven't. And he knows what it's like to be in this position where you just can't do anything about it.
A struggle.
No turns, Pete!
Pete's willing to wrestle on the mat.
If it's something you love to do, just do it. Of course, there's going to be different looks from people. Just go out and do it.
Nice job.
I enjoy using marijuana recreationally, just straight up.
I consume every day.
It's not your pot smoking of the 60s. It's a new day. People are smoking at home legally, and many of those people are parents.
She's my little buddy, is my little shadow.
Rory Dowd is the father of 11-year-old Riku. The two are quite a pair.
It's just fun to hang out with my dad.
Dowd's music relaxes him, but so does his marijuana.
I'm a daily user. I enjoy, smoking a bowl or eating an edible when I come home from work.
Dowd does not use marijuana in front of his daughter, but she knows he does it.
Even if I did know where it was, I wouldn't touch it. I know it's just like alcohol. It's not something meant for kids.
Don't agree with pot-smoking parents? Dowd tells the naysayers it's more common than you might think.
Yeah, the taboo and stigma, I think it definitely has lessened very much in the last 20 years. And for anybody who's still on the other side of that taboo and stigma, I keep up.
Christine and Andre Gamez are even more open about cannabis with their kid.
This is not a big deal to him.
They're parents of 7-year-old Gabriel.
Yep.
They too are daily users.
When I get home and I have, we have our smoke session, it'd be like somebody picking up their bottle of wine and having a drink or having their beer after work at a bar.
The Gamezes keep their paraphernalia out in the open, just steps away from their son.
I know I'm not allowed to use it because I'm not old enough.
But the couple argues it's similar to leaving booze out on the counter or cigarettes in reach.
I don't hide anything from him, but I also feel like it's responsible parenting to not be, sitting on the couch. I'm not smoking a joint with him right here.
I feel like we're not pressuring him to know exactly what we're doing or what it is.
But their stash of cannabis is tucked away.
We have our flower here. We have some of our concentrates.
Christine Gamez is a big believer in the products.
Anything from smoking a joint to smoking out of a bong to using concentrates and dabbing to just topical lotions and bath salts.
And they're growing pot plants in the bathroom.
This one is citrus.
Christine says the products work. She had brain surgery years ago and found medicinal relief in THC, the chemical compound found in cannabis. Just 2 days after surgery, she dumped the morphine and all other prescribed drugs.
It resolved my problem in mock speed. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. Faster than my doctors can explain.
She is such a believer in the products, she got a job as a manager at Bloom Dispensary.
What can I do for you today?
Bloom staff say it's your neighbors.
Graham and the blackjack for you.
Your doctors, your teachers who could be using cannabis.
All walks of life, yes, from you got your grandmas coming in with their kids.
Some people may never be on board with recreational marijuana use, but these parents say it can be safe, it can be managed, and remember, it's legal. In Reno, Kim Burrows reporting. Residents in Lemon Valley don't see a beautiful lake that surrounds their neighborhood.
It's gross. It's all green algae and really disgusting.
They see a sewage cesspool. Kim Semino says the water is killing birds and making her sick.
I just don't trust it. I've been sick for 9 weeks.
This past winter and spring, Lemon Valley turned into a retaining pond for massive amounts of rain and snow that fell in the area. It all collected here and pushed Swan Lake over its banks. Many months later, and there's still no place for the water to go.
I have concerns about it because of the fact that it is a body of water that just keeps receiving in water, doesn't flush out like a natural lake.
Today, houses continue to be surrounded by floodwaters.
I had about this much water in my backyard.
At homes where the water is gone, the problems didn't recede with the water. Semino's been to the hospital 6 times, the emergency room twice.
I've had a really bad cold, my chest. I had pneumonia. I've got a rash on my leg that is huge, and it makes my legs swell up really bad.
Semino's neighbors also have unexplained illnesses, and her dogs have been sick too.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. See, we're both sick.
The medical bills are adding up.
The dogs, I've spent about $6,000 on the dogs, and me, myself, probably about $15,000. My kids were raised in this house. I love my house, and I just don't want to move. I love it out here. I mean, this is my life. This is my whole life right here. And now it looks like a war zone.
The residents think the stagnant floodwaters, the thick algae, and the potentially contaminated groundwater are to blame. Semino's tap water has tested positive for E. coli.
And I'm thinking that there's something wrong with the water, and they just don't want to tell us.
We wanted to know what was in this water, so we're going to take some samples and find out.
and we tested from several locations.
We took 3 samples to the Nevada State Public Health Laboratory. They tested for overall bacteria and specifically E. coli. Both were present in the water. The Washoe County Health District explained our results.
Just on those 3 tests that were averaged together, it came to 46.2, which is, like I said, nearly 10 times under the U.S. EPA exceedance for recreational waters, and it's also still under the exceedance for actual swimming beaches.
The health district says in 2017 it's taken 85 water samples from Swan, Silver, and White Lakes. Their test results?
They're way below the exceedance level that's set by the U.S. EPA for recreational waters.
But spokesman Phil Ulibarri admits he would not let his family or even his pets swim in the water.
I think when I smell it the most is in the morning.
Tammy Holt-Still is a board member of the Lemon Valley Swan Lake Recovery Committee, a group of residents who speak for and represent the Lemon Valley residents. She's concerned that Washoe County isn't doing enough to get rid of the floodwaters.
It needs to be pumped out. The city of Reno needs to stop pumping their effluent water in Washoe County, need to stop pumping their effluent water into that lake. It needs to go someplace else.
The county says this water isn't making residents sick, but they're not convincing many of the people who are living in this bacteria soup that are doing anything to get up and out of the water.
I wish somebody would have done something more and sooner.
And as the sun sets on Lemon Valley for another night, residents wonder how many more days they'll have to put up with the floodwater concerns. In Lemon Valley, Kim Burrows reporting.